Hello, it's Rebecca and today is another book review day, and this is my 33rd book that I've been reading for the 2015 reading challenge. I will put a little link down below in the description box to explain what the challenge is about, but basically it's to read 52 books over a year, with each book coming from a different category. And the book that I've been reading this time comes from the category of a book with a colour in the title. And I have been reading The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. Now, I can't read you the blurb because there isn't one on the back of the book, but I will read you something from the Amazon description. The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman is a short story that, despite its length, is largely regarded as one of the most important feminist texts ever written. The story itself follows a woman's slow descent into madness when she and her husband spend the summer in a large mansion. The text discusses many themes that would not come to light until years later, such as male dominance and women being trapped in the home. Through this, The Yellow Wallpaper masterfully blends story and theme, showing many attitudes surrounding women's health as well as their physical and mental well-being. I'd heard of this book a while ago. When I say book, it really can't be classed. Well, obviously it is a book, but it is pretty much a short story. But I heard of this a while ago and thought it was quite interesting as it deals with the issue of depression. Now, I suffer with depression and I've had it for, I'm going to say at least 15 years, but probably even longer. I do take medication for it and it keeps it under control. And I think depression is one of those things that still isn't spoken about enough, and lots of people suffer with it. It's a horrible, horrible thing to suffer with because people don't see mental illness as an illness. If you've broken your leg, or if you can see what's wrong with somebody, then people tend to be more sympathetic to those things. But if it's something in your head, people are a little bit wary and think that you're just nutty. So, having suffered with depression, I was really interested to read this story, and I'm so glad I did. It really depicts depression well. It is written so brilliantly that I think anyone who does or even doesn't suffer with depression should read this to fully understand. Basically, such a short story. A woman and her husband are staying in a huge mansion. I think the husband is working. I can't fully grasp why they're there. And the house is huge and there's loads of different bedrooms. And in the attic room, or the room at the very top, which used to be a nursery, the woman notices this yellow wallpaper and it's kind of ripped and damaged in places, but it really gets into her head. And the sad thing is about this story is that the woman's husband is a doctor and he almost refuses to believe that she's sick and will do nothing to help her. And I guess that it was written at a time, it was written in the late 1800s, I think, 1892, when, unless you had a physical ailment, it wasn't taken seriously. And like I say, it's sad that that's almost still the case now. But she is unwell. She talks about how sometimes she just cries for absolutely no reason, and I know what that's like, and it's horrible. When something upsets you, you've obviously got something to buffer it against. You've got something tangible or something real to hold on to say, I am crying because I'm upset because XYZ happens. But when you cry for absolutely no reason whatsoever, your brain is having to deal with you being upset and also not knowing where these tears are coming from and why you're feeling so low. And she finds almost solace in this wallpaper, this pattern, this twisted, turning maze of lines. And she notices things in the wallpaper. She notices shapes that turn into a woman's face, and she truly believes there's a woman tangled up in this wallpaper. And if you've suffered with depression, and it's not the same for everybody, so I'm not trying to compartmentalise people and saying, oh, if you've suffered with depression, you know what this is like. But I think, speaking from personal experience, you focus yourself on certain things. you see things that might not be there, as a way of almost controlling your emotions, as a way of logically trying to explain how you feel. And this, it's just beautifully written. It's so short, but it really gives you an insight into the illness, how it affects people, how it affects loved ones as well. Not knowing how partners, parents who don't suffer with depression have to deal with those of us that do, it must be very difficult, because everything you say is wrong, everything you do is wrong. But at least parents and partners now would have sympathy and try to understand, whereas her husband is almost saying to her, don't be so stupid, just pull yourself together. He won't let her be medicated, he won't let her speak to anybody about it. It's almost quite taboo, because it is a mental illness rather than a physical one. And I thoroughly enjoyed reading this, because as a sufferer, you sometimes feel like you're alone and that nobody else is experiencing what you're experiencing, and you try to explain it to people and they don't understand, and it is so, so tough. But this 35 pages made me feel not alone. It made me feel that it's okay to have depression. It might not be the best thing in the world, and like I say, I take my medication and it controls it, and I can go through life hunky-dory, but it's still there in the back of my head. It's still this angry thing trying to escape, and I have to learn how to control it. And I think the woman in this, through the wallpaper, this fascination that she has with this twisted pattern as almost a reflection of her mind, she deals with it outstandingly well. She doesn't kill anybody. I mean, if that had been me, I may have killed the husband, because he's just ignorant and rude and unaccepting of his wife. But a really, really enjoyable book. Very short, will take you no time at all to read it, but I really advise people to read it, to just understand what those of us with mental illness have to go through and have to deal with. So I'm so glad I read it, and it's absolutely amazing. So if you're interested in hearing any of my other book reviews, then please subscribe to my channel. I put new videos out every time I've read a book, and occasionally give writing advice and talk about my own writing. So if you're interested in reading and or writing, then please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Have a good day. Bye bye.